us to discuss and then give you proper inputs. Hope it is all done. Else, the admin can try to help it out.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you for the opportunity given to the head of the staff members and the student coordinators as well. So today, the most important factor that we all need to know about is overcoming this COVID. So the topic of the session was like tackling COVID. So how do we overcome this situation? Now, what was required to basically overcome this situation is a mental strength. Now, no more COVID can be still seen as a medical ailment. Now, people used to say, okay, it is an infection, it is a disease. More of all these factors, what we need to really bother about is the mental health related aspects, which is very, very critical and vital. Now, how many of you think that COVID is an infection? Even I don't have a doubt it is an infection. But now, how the
Sir? So,
instead, I would request you mute the mic of rest of the participants.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
All right, no issues, nothing. Yeah. So, why this is called mental health constraint? Because now no, this is an infection which is available outside, and how do we make ourselves is very important. So this is what we call it as a behavioral aspect, right? Infection is available, prevailing across the globe, everywhere it is there. But do I go and get connected with that infection is most important factor, which is called as a behavioral aspect. Now, if you see the psychopathological aspects, when you talk about immune system of a body which fights against the infection, basically, when you say this immune system of the body, it is inevitable to consider the behavioral immune system of the body as well. Now, there are several psychological aspects which are associated when we talk about this COVID-19 handling. Say, for example, many people do say, like, I have been handling with 3 organizations on a telecounseling service to people across the 1.5 months of time. In fact, we got a lot of calls where people complain about sleeplessness, anxiety, depression, stress, and all these things. In fact, the corporate companies were also not able to overcome with the condition of cabin fevers. People had a different thought and different perspective when it comes to handling a stress. Now, before getting into it, I know you're all psychology students, and then many expert professors are also there. Stress is something, in fact, in my books also I've written, stress is, it is not a chance, it is a choice. I take it or I do not take it to handle. So it is a person dependent and it is not a dependent always. If we blame the consequence for the stress, it is absolutely not our responsibility. How do we take the stress purely depends on the individual. So stress is one factor which we need to overcome upon. Then a response to disease is basically given by a psychological aspect of human mind. So how does this brain respond? Generally, when you have a temperature, in olden days, even now, elderly people used to say, any disease 50% is psychological and 50% is biological, right? The behavioral immune system is our brain's way of engaging in kind of a preventive medicine. So how does our brain respond to it? I'll tell you a casual example. For example, like you see some food which is not tasty or something which you don't like, you automatically try to avoid it. Wherever you get an opportunity to have that, you will try to absolutely say some reasons and avoid, create an aversion towards that food. So all these things happen with respect to the human brain, and this is called as a behavioral immune system. And I'm not used to it, I don't want to take a chance. These are the parameters that we need to really. And one important thing is the collective anxiety, the entire anxiety levels that we have by the behavioral aspects that we should. This is very important. Current situation, we have crossed the, I mean, there is a parallel discussion going on, please.
It's clear now, sir.
Yeah, now it is clear. There are several situations like this. Several countries have overcome, like case of 2009 in Ebola virus outbreak and all those things. What is important is the psychological well-being, the consideration of the individual's mind, and then the societal, psychological aspects. Media should also play a vital role in this. Now, how do you take yourself with this seriousness? There are many information available on with respect to the COVID on the internet or television or daily, day in, day out, hours together. There are discussions going on in the news which is coming up. So how do we take this information promptly and responsibly is very, very important and vital. Right. When I talk about certain aspects which are very critical, people also sometimes in the articles they say, withdrawal symptoms to people, and then usage of alcohols are to be avoided permanently. Absolutely, there are many cases that people have proved that they can live without alcohol. Now, what happens when they take this alcohol? These are all factors that we need to mildly upon. And when I talk about stress at this moment, it is not only a major stress that can be related to the infection, it can be a fear. It can be an exaggerated news that we listen from outside that will also create a mental closeness inside me. I will not be able to handle it. Rather, I will not be prepared to handle such situations. These are all individual dependent, right? Now, this kind of alcohols or drugs, we have to refrain from them very clearly, because the boost brain system that basically creates a happiness for 20-30 minutes. And then once this alcohol is leaving the blood, obviously the human brain is going to tend for your GABA, whatever you call what do you call the chemical in the brain. The GABA level is going to be affected. The neurotransmitters will play a vital role in making you still more dull. So to avoid a problem, alcohol or drugs is not a solution. So withdrawal symptoms, I have not seen. Probably I have handled about 5,400 inmate workers, laborers, migrant laborers there in Chennai. And when I did a survey in understanding, how do you feel after 20 days of not consuming alcohol, I find the results were really alarming, and they were not really hoping to have alcohol also in future. So this is something we don't have to bother. But however, I am touching this aspect because it is one of a psychological important aspect to be considered. Fine. This is one portion I wanted to talk about. Then breaking the rules. This mentality is mostly with the age group of about 25 to probably 40, 45. You can see the statistics of this COVID also, which got affected in Chennai. Traditionally, they show it daily on which age group is also getting affected. The problem has come mostly with age group of 25 to 45 or 50. This is because they have a tendency of breaking the rules. Now, when government says, or let us take this, let us forget about the government aspect. Let us consider the preliminary body for this COVID who gives you a direction, World Health Organization. This World Health Organization very clearly says certain parameters that you need to maintain and manage, like washing your hands frequently, either with a sanitizer or a hand wash or something, social distancing, and wearing a mask whenever. Now the prone of virus is more, so mask is mandatory. Otherwise, mask was also not required. Now, where all this behavioral role plays a vital key. One, when you go and then you are being a chain of this COVID, obviously your mind says, okay, nothing will happen. The intensity is not so severe. It is probably affecting European people or some other country people where the immunity level is low and we are all high immune. So we do not know how does the immune system work in ourselves. So these are all mental aspects that we define ourselves, or rather we try to fake ourselves that our immunity systems are better. It is not the case. Not necessarily the severity of a fever or any kind of illness or ailment can be same for every individual person. This varies from person to person also. As I have told at the beginning, as the stress level varies from people to people, the level of immunity also varies from people to people. So let us not get into the biological aspects of it very more. But what is critical here is like maintaining a self-discipline of how do I overcome this situation. Now, going out and then being like our responsibility, breaking that and being at home, maintaining a social distance is a part of a behavioral aspect. So this is one important point which we need to understand. And remember, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. We'll have to live with it, we'll have to run together across handling the situation. maybe the intensity of this virus can be probably less or high in different countries and different states or different parts of the state also. The only responsibility that we can do is we will make ourselves very clear that we'll have to fight against this virus, and then we'll have to live together. And this is purely possible when we try to make the mind very positive and very clear about the cause and effect of the situation. This is very important. And then some areas, how do we practice? See, it is all a daily routine in what we practice in psychological aspects. Like whenever we have a stress or an anxiety, generally people say you go drink some more water and all these things. Now, what are the aspects which you have to foresee is that now, in case if I am not behaviorally taking care of my mind properly or my health properly with respect to the conditions that I am bound to, I may not be having a hospitalization facility right now. All the hospitals are diseased probably. So with this reason, I may not have a chance to go to the doctor and get cured even for a normal fever. So this is a condition we need to tune ourselves or tune our mind in defining, yes, I am socially responsible. I'll have to take care of myself as long as the condition becomes to normalcy. I can't have a facility to go out and take a medication. So I'm preparing my mindset in that way. This is one thing which you need to really take up when it comes to taking care of your mind wellness with respect to the ailment or illness which is available in the field. And what we can do simply is that sharing and caring. We don't have to be socially isolated. The social distancing doesn't mean it's a distance from the society. It is a distance from an individual. Rather, we would call it as a physical distancing. That is very important. Now, when I say social distance, it doesn't stop me from talking to people, giving them a call, just talking to them on a casual note. And whenever we talk, we should always have a positive psychology in mind. So we should always talk about, in fact, we have a group in which what we do is daily basis, how many patients get cured. This is the only input that we give it to the group. Rather than saying that 1,500 people are affected, till that 20 people are cured today. So this kind of information will really generate a positive vibe in you and help you maintaining that level of positiveness always. And when discussing, this is something which is not in our hands, which is beyond an expectation of every individual. So let us not talk something which is not clear to us, not relevant to us, and then creating rumors is something which we should not do. Every individual has got a social responsibility here of making their mind very clear, saying that I am a warrior of this COVID. So how do I take it up responsible? Two things that we need to rectify ourselves. Many people who are afraid of going out and coming back, even the incidents that happened in Coimbatore, even though it is a spread of infection, it is because of the hygiene factors that we have missed to in all these days. Maintaining a proper hygiene is a part of a behavioral aspect. It is not a part of a medical aspect. So throwing out garbages, not maintaining the place properly, not washing the hands after coming from an outside place, taking baths. So all these we have no practice to do it. So let us keep it as a practice and continue doing it. Once you feel like this is only for my betterment and safety, people will tend to take it as a practice. The moment if you feel like I am forced to do it, there are chances that it can even lead to obsessive compulsive disorder or something similar to this as well. So the responsibility of taking it is purely with us, and the responsibility of giving weightage to it as a psychological aspect is very, very important than having any other practice in day-to-day life. And I wish to also tell you a couple of things. Two things WHO is guided with respect to the psychological well-being. One, do not call the patients as a COVID patient, or do not name them anybody as a COVID patient or COVID affected or something like this, because this gives a down feeling to people whoever stay there. So this should not be done. This is a part of well-being with respect to behavioral aspect also. And do not have created a feeling that, okay, this is from China, so this country is like this, these people are like this. So these are all something which we should not do. We call it as xenophobia generally. So that kind of feel should not come to people. This is one social aspect we need to really look upon. Then the societal support is something which we need to always give. Whatever possible way, we do support the community level. So do not take this as an advice, but these are very, very minor aspects which we leave to understand. And when we address kids and elders at home, elders may be more anxious, elders may be questioning you more. whatever limit that information that you can always disseminate it to them with a positive approach always. When you listen to news, when you see the breaking news, always there is a potential possibility that the breaking news can itself give you a an aggressive mood or kind of a depressed mood also sometimes. So this need to be filtered and conveyed accordingly. Many cases, I'll tell you, elderly people who might have already seen like situations like plague or Ebola virus or something like this, they all know how to lead their life, and their lives are very simple. So in that way they themselves will have a mental strength, and we should not go and reduce it to them. And children especially, you can talk to them, you can teach them about what COVID is about. And remember, very importantly, when you handle children, these are very very prone to infectious diseases. Reason behind, the moment when children, especially the kids at the age of LKG or UKG, they go to the school, they get infected very very frequently. So that is the good decision that government has taken to close down the schools, because any one small viral infection that comes to a kid will be continuously spreading to the rest of the kids. So we need to talk to the children, teach them properly, like what are the measures that they need to take, like having a handcuff when they sneeze or when they cough. So this kind of habits are to be made permanently and not temporarily, because we are not, as I told you, we are not taking a sprint, we are taking a marathon. So we need to run with it, we need to live with it for a longer duration. So this is something which is critical and very important to understand with respect to the COVID tackling situation. And then stress coping adjustment process, we need to do this very oftenly and frequently. We'll have to pin down what are all my stresses or what are all my stress elements. Many of us do have a fear of job security, or probably what next, or people who are into business, what would be the situation that I'll be able to overcome. I'll tell you a small suggestion. When you talk about business, many people think, okay, the entire world is down, especially India is down for 45 days and no business is happening. Remember, the small business players like electricians or carpenters or whoever, maybe they may be our parents or our neighbors. We can very well tell them that yes, the opportunities were closed for 60 days and we are going to be flushed with a lot of opportunities which still people are going to open up, and we have a scope. So this is a positive psychology or a positive approach that we can take, and then go give them an idea and make it a routine to them also, give them a hope also. Secondly, most important thing that we need to consider here is suggestive psychotherapy methods. Like for example, I'm sure many of you would have utilized this lockdown period effectively. Many of you might not have utilized the lockdown period also, because we can even see in the social media on the memes that I have put down weight, I've been doing this at home, sleeping at home, and all these things are fine. Please remember, very important factor with respect to idleness and the productivity, the 45 days of being idle without a regular activity will absolutely affect the productivity of any individual when they resume back to their own professions. Now, when we resume back to the our own professions, we need to ensure that the same productivity is still maintained, or at least a better productivity has happened to me. So what do we do on a daily basis is that we will list down certain list of activities that we need to do. Let that include a proper exercise or some sort of a physical activity that we can do to keep our mind and the body perfect. Secondly, we will have a good diet plan, have a proper food at proper time. Oily or junk foods can be avoided, because which can create an impact to your immune system. And people who are afraid of this COVID, please ensure you need not have to be afraid of a condition where you are not exposed to any atmospheric area or environmental situations. Now, for example, I have been staying in at home for 40 days. Please do not get yourselves confused that whether still I'll be getting it. See, this is not so pandemic that it spreads to air and come through your windows and affect you. Absolutely no. So this is a mindset we need to very clearly create. The moment when I go and then break the chain, be with people, I'll have to be cautious, maintain a social distance, have my proper hand hygiene system in place. Hand hygiene in the sense, I'll tell you a recent article which published in Times of India somewhere. A normal human habit of taking the hands to the face is not less than 23 times an hour. So we still have I do this. We have been doing it very frequently like this. So this is something which is importantly called as a hand hygiene. Like if I wear a gloves, this is a behavioral aspect. Don't think that I'm talking like a medical doctor. However, these are all behavioral aspects what doctors say. When I wear a gloves, I need to ensure that I remove it properly. It doesn't mean I wear a gloves, I can take my hands with the gloves and touch the face. The problem is that the surface contains the virus that should not be taken to the face. So taking the hands to the face when you are exposed somewhere, it is avoided. These are all the mental conditions that we need to define ourselves to overcome such situations. Then having water, all this what you do for a normal stress kind of a condition is all good. You can still practice. There are no special recommendations or methods which is given. Only the self anxiety that nobody else can play a role. It is the only condition where to really play a role. And we as psychologists have got a responsibility in making people overcome the situation of a post-traumatic stress disorder, which we call it as a PTSD. At any condition where is my voice audible still?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Totally audible, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Only
Yeah.
one video is
Video is hello.
cross. Yes, sir. Your video is cross. It's not in the proper position. Then there are people who are requesting to keep it proper. It's just a request, sir.
That's okay. Is it clear now?
I guess the participants have to say, but the audio is perfect, sir. You can go ahead.
All right. I think
Audio.
my video will not be also important, so I'll just go ahead with it. So what we can do is, if we are psychologists or trained professional counselors, so let us talk to people, understand who are all requiring and remote psychological support. Let us do it as a societal responsibility. Talk to them, understand their grievance, and then give them a hope. Remember, in any of the psychological process, there are experts also, but I'm just putting these points to people who are very young and very interested in taking up psychology as their profession. Remember, we are not advisors. We do not take any of our arguments in an advisory mode. It should be purely a professional counseling approach. Any theory that you do, you need to understand the professional approach. For example, when you talk to a person, you need to understand what exactly is their feelings, what exactly is their thoughts, what exactly is their behavior. Remember, these three words I am repeating again: feelings, thoughts, and behaviors are not the same, right? Somebody might feel something, their thoughts may be something different because of which they feel so, and the behavior that they tend to, for example, if I get angry and throw something on somebody, you cannot name me as a bad person. My behavior is showing in a way that I throw something on somebody. This is ethically not right. However, I'm just quoting you an example. So at the time I do that action, that's a behavior. And that behavior is bound by a certain feeling inside me. And that feeling would be generated because of having a proper thought. So the counseling process entirely you take up should involve feeling, thoughts, and behavior as well. Understand them properly. Talk to them in a manner which gives them a real solution for the problem, right? Just do not tell them, sir, this is all very casual, you have to live with it, the entire world is facing the same problem, so it is okay, it will get soon in another 10 days. This is not the role of a psychologist, and we are not here for giving the same advice what newspapers gives. And anybody who writes article or something always writes something which is in the positive note, because people tend to read a lot during this time. So at least some point of hope if we can give to people with respect to our writings in terms of a psychological aspect. Also, never try to work upon a project which is negatively tuned towards taking a psychological response. These are all the basic suggestions my end. Anyways, taking up a research project, it is your prerogative. However, take a lot of positive aspects of how did people overcome. How you can even try to talk to people who were quarantined, understand the feelings of them, try to get inputs from them. How was the situation? How did one individual come across in handling such a situation? These all can be a practical case studies for your better understanding. Remember, never ever try to impose your psychological study or theoretical knowledge upon people, saying that no sir, you must be having this. I am sure, I'm a psychologist, I will tell you, you only have this problem. Never talk to people on that front. Because when you talk to people on that front, even if they are not aware of such situation, they may be probably in a position to understand, okay, I am on a very critical condition where I need to really take upon, I have some psychological disorder. I was just talking to Nirmala ma'am a couple of days back, and we were just discussing on the factor, like, when you say a disorder, it doesn't mean it is a very serious problem. For example, say I have this sanitizer, this is to be placed here, and this is a regular location of the sanitizer. I just take this and keep it somewhere else. This is also a disorder. Something which is to be in order is not in order, so that's a disorder. It doesn't mean they have a serious problem. The seriousness or the degree of problem is to be seriously understood, and you cannot be very simply casually talking to them also if the seriousness of the problem is very severe. Like, the assessment is very important when you talk about psychology. A psychological assessment of an individual, what approach you need to make, whether it is a group therapy or individual or a cognitive behavioral therapy, these are important aspects that you need to understand. So please take the right sense or right approach of what you need to convey to them. What did you understand from them? If you are not clear, do ask them questions. Remember, when you talk to any person who is there anybody in the psychology background who is also working on counseling areas?
Yes, sir. There are some students who are also working. They're taking up their diploma courses. They are also in the line now.
Okay. So my point is, when you ask something to people, like, never provoke a question. Like, don't ask a question which provokes their thought. For example, a person who has been quarantined, isolated, who is not working for a week or so, or at least for a month, he did not have any earnings. Don't just ask him, what are you going to do for your money? Like, what is the measure that you take? How did you run the family for the past 30 days? So this kind of questions, when you make a questionnaire, should be totally avoided, because you're knowingly or unknowingly making them feel insecure, or probably think of the same situation. Rather, if you can give them a positive hope of what can be done, or make them answer your question in such a way that, sir, how do we think we will come across, let it not be an open-ended question. You give them a chance that they take a positive note of it and then answer toward that question. So these are certain things which is an integral part of maintaining a social responsibility as well with the people. This is something which is very important. And let me just think of something I have left over to discuss, and the next half an hour can be yours. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, and self-medication is something wrong. Huh? Don't go by any media or information. Only if there is an ICMR guideline of what to do, what not to do, please consult a doctor and then take a medication. Never ever think, okay, this is something which I can manage with my paracetamol. Don't do that also. This is also a behavioral aspect, because many of the terms, unfortunately or fortunately, I had to touch upon factors which are related to medical aspects as well. That's why I started my session saying that a psychopathology, where your health and body and mind also come together, because it's a collective responsibility of an individual to maintain the behavioral aspect as well, with respect to the medical norms and also with respect to the behavior of every individual. Right. Yeah. Not everybody will be prepared to handle a transitory stress reaction. Being happy for all the years, suddenly falling in 45 days of trap of doing nothing, feeling hopeless, and then coming back to the normalcy. All these situations will not be practically possible. This is what we call it as a transitory stress reaction. Not everybody will be prepared to it. So we need to give them time. Even if we are associated with somebody, even some laborers or some kind of domestic workers who come to our house, let us adjust with them, understanding their psychological well-being also, and let us not be a very strict masters to them. Give them some time to adjust, get it adopted. Even I have seen many cases, parents who used to say 40 days of leave you have enjoyed and now you are not studying. So let us not have this kind of a pressure inbuilt on them. And people who do their own business, do not strain, all these days you have not been earning, so try, go, run, and then work fast. This is not practically possible. So to come out of this transitory stress reaction levels, people have to take a lot of time. Let us adopt to it, let us adjust to it, let us be prepared for the new normalcy. This is what I can, in a nutshell, for this half an hour, I was able to give you a crux of what we can do with respect to a behavioral aspect of a human being, probably with respect to psychological aspects of a human being also. I think I have covered up what was required. Hope is that clear?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, yes. This is like really
Open the
effective enough. I request all the participants to throw open your questions. Anybody can post your questions, and the students community are also there. People, if you have any questions, please start your QA session. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dear participants, you have any questions? You can please start posing your questions. Vaishnavi, you can start. If the students are ready, you can start with your questions, Vaishnavi.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, please do.
Should I go with the first question, ma'am?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, as we know that there are a lot of people who are outside in the roads without shelter and without food. So, how it is possible for us to help them in any kind of means?
Okay. This I can add with my experience because I was also a part of Chennai Corporation in feeding them daily. See, there are migrant laborers or people where the corporation has got a provision of night shelters. They can go get accommodated there, and 3 time meal is being provided to them from Chennai Corporation. If you are from a rest other district, you can check with your corporation team. Now, going giving food at this stage is risky because I think we have come to a stage where the spread is getting increased day by day. So restrict yourselves. If you want to dispose something, identify a person in that locality, take a packet, a set of food that you want to give or whatever material you want to give, dispose it to them, and they will in turn dispose it to the local area people. That would be safer. Involving ourselves is like breaking the chain. Not directly you have to go and do it. You can align with government officials or private bodies who are authorized to distribute foods or whatever with the government, so they can be a part of it. If you try to break this, then automatically it becomes a behavioral restriction.
Yes, thank you, sir. Is there anyone who's gonna ask any questions?
I think there must be many because half an hour is left.
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir, myself Sri Vashni from SKPC College.
Yeah.
I have a doubt like people during this lockdown they develop many kind of distress that being in home, not able to go outside, and how could they be psychologically aided or how could they be like psychologically suppressed with those distressing, sir?
Excellent. See, generally, we as counselors have seen certain statistics of, when people come for a counseling. Generally, they should live with the problem for at least a couple of years. Will take them, to come for a counseling. This is on a normal condition. But this kind of an unexpected situation where people may be waiting for, an assistance, maybe waiting for a help to be done. Probably they may not reach out you. You can talk to them. That's what I said. You can voluntarily give them a call, just say hi, understand that how do they feel, just give some time for them to express their feeling. With that feeling you will be able to understand what exactly they are in, which stage they are in, and you can give them suggestions accordingly, like do this or do that or never do this, or try to maintain this kind of situation. Let us be very practical in talking to them. We will not say okay sir, all will get fine, don't worry sir, I will call you tomorrow. Don't give any committed hopes to them, but give them a hope which can be long lasting, saying that okay, they themselves can think this and come over. Otherwise it becomes a trouble, because at this time if you try taking a counseling session to people also, you may try to waste a lot of time out of it, because many of them will try to express their problem for half an hour. So as a counselor, the professional, very important factor that you need to understand is also maintaining your time. Generally, any counseling on a normal node, other than this situation, should not go beyond 55 minutes. It's a ethics of counseling. Otherwise, you will end up in getting a lot of stories from them. They will say their grandma stories right from them and the family stories and all. So this is not a role of psychologist, because remember, when you do a counseling, you need to ensure that you are not carried away by any emotions. The moment you get carried by emotions, unwilling you from that is difficult. So talk to them, understand what do they want, and try to support in the way that you can. If you are not able to do, don't take a chance, give it to experts who can do it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have just a question. This is from a
Please.
layman's point of view, and I guess this is only for the benefit of the participants. Regarding this task mark, people rushing to the task mark, I'm sure there is no way of controlling behavior, because the more you try to control, the more it collapses. But it is all about managing these behaviors. How can this particular behavior of literally rushing? I know there was a lot of control for 1 month, 2 months, and that's how this spurt is happening. But how do we manage such behaviors, the alcoholics, so that if there are so many participants from various other colleges and geographical area in this webinar, at least by word by mouth communication, if at all they can help out people, this would be helpful. So that's the reason I have posed this question. How can this manage their behavior of literally rushing into the task mark and whatever the spot may be? How do
Yeah.
we manage this? What do we tell?
All right. Now, this is actually, I would say, people have not died because of not having alcohol. See, there are cases where drug addicts, people used to say that when addicts are there, they can't live with it. See, 20 days, at least the first 45 days, first 10 or days, 10 days or something, they may be getting something, I don't know. But this 45 days, they have been used to it. Now, anything beyond 21 days becomes a habit. But still,
Absolutely.
people want to do this. This is out of craze, most probably out of craze. I may not say this is the only reason, because you cannot judge anybody with respect to a psychological aspect, but this is a craze. Now, what can be done to these kind of people is that we'll have to try conducting some sessions or talking to them, give them an educating moment, saying that, okay, when you take an alcohol, it is a temporary relief and you will not be better. So 20-30 minutes of consuming an alcohol will give you a sensation to the brain, and after it leaves, it is going to give you an addiction syndrome. So you will not be able to come out of this condition. I think there is a signal loss. Am I still audible?
You are audible. You are very much audible.
Talk to them on the neurotransmitters of gamma aminobutyric, like GABA chemicals that is being secreted in your brain. It is going to get affected. These people will never listen to you. You can rather tell them, the moment if you go outside, you are one of the culprit who is going to bring this COVID to the entire family, and you do not know what possibility it is going to come to you. And when you take alcohol, obviously your respiratory tracts is getting affected, and the COVID is one possibility which you can still give them a threat and saying that that is going to affect your respiratory tracts. And for people who have got a less immunity with respect to respiration or better functioning cardiac, the impact is going to be high. So we can talk to them probably on these notions, tell them that please do not urge, please wait still for some more days as long as the infection gets completely controlled, and then go ahead. Because even advising a person on respect to having alcohol or not having alcohol is also not a part of a counseling. You have to, if they dedicatedly come to you that I want to quit this, then there are methodologies of telling them. We are not going to give them an de-addiction counseling. So we are just going to tell them the threat involved into it, potential threat that is involved into going to an arak shop, getting something, and more than getting an liquor, you will be getting the virus and coming home. So this kind of probably a suggestion can be given to them, because you can't counsel at this moment. See, there are certain conditions which you should not do a counseling. There is an ethics also for condition like where people have gone crazy and not ready to listen to something. The counseling doesn't work out. And secondly, in case of any death or something, people die during this time. Never ever try to, I know many of you know this, never ever try to do a grief counseling during immediately once this happens, because grief counseling has to happen minimum 3 months at least. There should be a gap, because people have to let out their feelings and then come out of it. Then the counseling has to happen.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I had two questions.
Please.
Yeah, so the first one is about the survey you were talking about.
Yeah.
You said that you conducted a survey during the COVID-19 thing. You checked how people who were previously consuming alcohol felt after no consumption of alcohol for almost 20 to 30 days. So I'd like to know the result of that. That's my first question.
Okay. It's a result which I have published to the IMCT team, Interministerial Central team. So it's confidential. However, the output can be told to you. See,
Yeah.
precisely want me to answer this question. 68+% of people said that I'm comfortable. See, I cannot give a guarantee whether these guys will go back to their place and still have an alcohol or limit the alcohol consumption or totally leave it. But I remember 7 to 8 people have taken a selfie with me saying that I will not drink anymore and I will advise the youngsters who are taking alcohol not to take. See, this was the outcome. Now, as I told, beyond 21 days, something can be practiced, which can be made as your routine psychological behavioral aspect. Um, Now, assume the case of the inmates whom I was telling. They were already under government control of not getting anything for 45 days. The moment they get back to their place, also they will be still quarantined in a location for another 15 days. So it's a long time of 60 days. Many people might have left it. Many would not have been financially sound to buy an alcohol and consume daily. So these are the results which are oriented towards it. But it cannot give a guarantee whether this guy is going to consume or not. But this is a positive. When we talk to them also, we did not ask, how did you feel after leaving alcohol? This is a very direct and abrupt, stupid question that I can ask them. You know, they will say, I have no option, so I am not drinking, then I am lost. So that is not the way. But then, how is the change? How do you feel fresh? How did you feel fresh? So you can talk to them about the oxygen pumping level to the brain and how fresh will be your human brain while thinking about it. So this kind of discussions can happen with them. And positively, if people really wanted to take a chance of utilizing this, they will utilize it. That's it.
Thank you, sir. For my next question.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
go ahead. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead, please.
It's one question from the participant, KR, that is a participant's short name. This is a question from only representing. He or she has said, "Good evening, sir. How to overcome from the depression during quarantine, like people those who are suffering from COVID-19?" This is a question posed by one of the participant.
So quarantine in the sense where they treated post treatment quarantine, or it is a pre-treatment quarantine?
They have just mentioned depression during quarantine, and they've
This
also
is
said if people are suffering from COVID-19, how do we take care of them? The
see,
patient. That's
yeah, it
his
is
question.
positive to give them an idea. See, end of the day, the ultimate situation of this COVID is purely a positive psychology. So how do you talk to them and tell about having a proper medical information or medical legal aspects of how the government or doctors are taking care? Tell them the process involved. Say this is the process which we are trying to do, and the death rates in India is less, and you don't have to be afraid of this, and you will not be called as a COVID patient in future, and you will be absolutely well taken care by the society. That is why in many places you can see people who came back from the COVID wards, discharged from the COVID wards, were welcomed with giving a bouquet, with clapping hands and all these things. This kind of small information you can tell them, you are still a survivor and absolutely you can come out of this. Don't worry, you are on a proper safe hands. This is the only positive hope that you can give. Other than this, there cannot be any committal responses. You can find many of my answers are very generic, but believe me, you have to be generic at this condition because we are bound by a lot of medical legal aspects. We can't go and do a counseling to them. We can't say something which is beyond medical ethics here. So we are in a constrained situation of giving, but always making them on a positive notion is possible with us. A professional counselor can take up positive things, asking to them, see, listen to them, understand the problem fully. You give, if you take half an hour of session with them, 20 minutes you listen to them, understand it properly, 5 minutes for yourself assessment internally and talk to them, and the last 5 minutes you give them the output, which is very positive and giving them a hope that yes, I can survive. So that is the way you can handle.
Sir?
Yeah.
I had a question about productivity. You said that productivity during this time is good, and I agree with your point. A lot of posts and other things in Instagram are recommending, are saying that even if you're not productive during this time, it's fine, and basically it's to make the person feel better. What would you say about that? Is
Can you, then I'm not able to get the crux.
okay, you said that being productive during this time is the best.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it'll enable us to go back to our normal lives after this, or whatever will be the new normal.
Hmm.
But a lot of people are not being that productive, and
Hmm.
they tend to feel guilty about it. And so, as to make them feel better, a lot of posts in Instagram say that you don't have to be productive, and it's just words of consolation. What would you
Yeah.
say about that?
Okay. See, the dissemination of information has become a problem in India, or at least with the social media. Now, anybody can post anything, but who posts it? What is the authenticity behind this is very important. Do you believe that stress has an adverse, impact with respect to productivity? Do you believe that?
No, I believe that it will be better if you're being productive, because stress tends to lower during the time of productivity.
Oh, so you're telling me on a positive note. I asked you a question on a negative note. That's true. So being productive has got a lot of. I mean, being stressless or being anxiety-less or not being depressive will really help you in being productive. I didn't mean you have to be productive during this time. What I said is you have to effectively utilize the time to be productive in future. Like you can't go and do the same amount of work that you have been doing it all the days, but you can set a routine of keeping yourself active, and that active mentality will not give you a laziness, and that laziness will not lead to a long term productivity loss. This is what I exactly meant. So utilizing the time, for example, somebody who is working on a lathe machine on a day to day basis, and he cannot try to work out something similar to that at home. He can probably do some domestic work, or he can read some newspapers, he can clean the house or something like this. So instead of keeping, see, idle mind is devil's workshop. So the moment you give a free to your, there will be a lot of thinking, there will be a lot of TV channels you will tend to watch, and because of it you will get down more and more and more and more. Because if I have a doubt on something, I ask my wife or I ask my kid, obviously they also reply me on the same verse, because everybody is staying on the same page. We may not be having a solution towards it. Instead, if you try to utilize the time effectively, playing with the kids and talking to people on a very positive notion, then automatically this keeps you active, and when you go to workplace you will be productive. This is what exactly I meant.
Okay, thank you,
Hope
sir.
did I answer you?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, this is Sudha Ramkumar. Actually, I have one question. How to manage with the stress of 10th or 12th student, those who are attending online classes during this lockdown period, at least 4 to 6 hours per day?
Okay. How is the session scheduled? I'm getting an echo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I guess there is a network problem here.
All right, so I got your question. For this in the 4 hour, is it continuous?
Yes, sir. I don't know.
4 to 6 hours has 2 sessions.
All right. So what is the break in between?
No break in between 8 to 12. And then in afternoon, the schedule will be 2:30 to 5 o'clock.
Okay. At least a half an hour of 5 10 minutes. Try to utilize it, make them active on their own area. For example, just finishing chess. Let them do that. If the student listen to music, let them do it. Let them take it in a relaxed mode. Because it's the new normal for them. Not like routine classrooms where they have is they don't have to look time. It's really disturbing. There's a good amount of echo. If somebody can just perfect. So that that we give them that be not just curriculum. That should be of interest preferable, because you can't instruct the trainer sessions like this, because they are all scheduled, and there may be several batches that this is inevitable. But try. They like some relaxation. Let them have it in them. Let them do it in between. So we will not patience to them at home. Try to move with them casually and feel like. And always you have opportunity. It's quite. Mute your mic. Hello.
Hello, sir.
No, it's a very good question. I wanted to answer. Oh, I'm not able to.
I don't know exactly what happened, sir. Actually, there is an echo problem. I'm finding out to clear this problem, sir.
I
All
think
right.
now it's better, Vaishu. I only request other participants to please mute the audio so that the speaker and the people who are questioning would be interacting much better. Thank you.
Yeah. Most importantly, as I have told, post the session is over, the 4 months of continuous session is over to the kid. You can tell him or you can appreciate him probably that you did a good job of making 4 hours today together. How did you feel? Like it is in fact better that you did not sit in the classroom for hours together in the same uniform, sweating, being with people. You are now relaxed. No, so some kind of positive notion that we need to give them and make them feel that okay. I really do not have that much of a pressure. I don't have to travel all the way to the school. Instead, I'm sitting. So this, you don't make it a bulleted points and talk to them. Talk to them on a casual note. How did you feel today? How was the presenter? You are really feeling more energetic. I can sense that you are very energetic. You are really feeling more energetic. I can sense that you are very energetic. So that's the way you. Someone else?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else with the questions? If not, I would like to address one of the participants' questions. Anybody there, or can I address?
You can tell after that I'll answer it.
Yes. There is yet another question. How will the shopkeepers take a proper care during this quarantine, since they are working from the starting of quarantine without any rest? How to overcome this situation by being safe? This
All right.
question, yeah, this is
Good.
from again.
Yeah, when we talk about a shop, there is a sale which is happening. When there is a sale which is happening, there are two parties involved. Now, the responsibility of us, if the shopkeeper is very known to us or very close to us, or we are a routine customer to them, there is nothing harm in educating to them that they have to maintain proper daily safety guidelines so as to take care of the safety of everybody else. The second option is the behavioral aspect, what we discussed from the beginning of ours. So we go to the shopkeepers, buy stuffs, take them, soak them in a water, and do whatever precautionary measure that we want, and come back home. So the risk, even though it is given, taking it or not taking it is our choice by having a proper behavioral aspects like hand hygiene and something else, what I have told you, like wearing a mask and then washing the items that you're getting from outside and using it. Any unsafe items you feel like cut vegetables, cut fruits, please do not entertain buying them. Ensure that what is basic for your day in, day out life is required, that you get it from a proper shop, which is properly maintained. If it is a nearby shop which you are very well aware of the vendor, you have all the rights and responsibility to talk to them. If there are any issues, you can elevate it to the health department of corporation also, that this is not being maintained properly. Ask them to sanitize it regularly, and that kind of social measure we can always take. Social precautions are always a part of behavior and psychological aspects. Yeah. Is there a drop? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Did I answer
Please
your
go
question?
ahead. I request the participant to respond.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, there is one interesting question. There is some person with the abbreviation A. Once you have had COVID-19, can you get it again? And there is a very biological technical question he or she has posed. I repeat, once you have had COVID-19, can you get it again? And if the virus mutated, would that change? This is a question.
Okay, I'm not a doctor by profession. However, I address it with my limited knowledge. I'll also quote that conditions apply with respect to ICMR guidelines. See, the generic situation is once you have survived, it is not like affected. You are talking about a condition where they have survived. The possibility of getting the same impact of virus can be again handled because the immunity level of the body has been adopted to it. This is something which very generic. I am quoting again. Don't take it as an official guideline from me and don't come for a fight tomorrow. This is some situation where you can obviously see because the mental strength in you would have made it come up and win it and successfully overcome it. Yes. Secondly, the mutation level that you are talking about may it be multi-mutated. Even what we have now is not the same mutation level what was generated in Wuhan is what being said in the social media and other places where we hear to. But let us all forget about getting affected or re-affecting the same person with the same mutation or different mutation level. That is all different. But if you continue to maintain the same behavioral aspect in terms of maintaining a social distance or in terms of maintaining a proper self-hygiene, all these questions are answered there itself. So purely when you take control of the situation to ensure so this situation can easily got it. Did I? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
Many people suffer anxiety and they feel depressed for many reasons during this pandemic, and many experience insomnia. They have difficulties to sleep and stay asleep, right? What could help them the most, sir?
A professional counseling can help them. Because if you define them as insomnia or you define them they are depressed, it is like you understand that they have all the symptoms is one thing, and if you define them they are having these conditions, then they have to take a professional counseling. Now due to COVID, there are people who take up counseling as well as a separate measure on a call, telecounseling. Generally in-person counseling will always help you. That is the best method of doing a counseling. But if you still have this kind of a condition where you can't go meet them, talk to them, then at least you can take them on a video call to understand the behavior of them and then respond what they have and what do they want to do. Sleeplessness due to this kind of situations and then practice is different and insomnia is different. That they have to understand. Like, unfortunately, many of us have become a medical doctors. The moment you don't sleep, go to Google, type "I'm not sleeping," then it will say some nonsense saying that you have insomnia, probably any asymptomatic situations and all those things. But they have to really come out with what exactly it does to them. So this can be questioned by a professional counselor, understood what is the situation, whether he is naming it insomnia or is it really an insomnia problem or any other related problems of psychology, that the counselor has to decide, and then a suggestive method can be given accordingly.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So I have
Is
a
there
question.
a question? Please.
Sir, because of this lockdown holidays, we many of us addicted to mobile phone, especially students. What they can do to come out from that?
Yeah, I am so happy that you have seen this lockdown as a holiday. Rest all good. Okay. statistics says on an average, a human being looking at a mobile screen, the duration is 200 times minimum a day, right? Now, I know you must not be, if you are very updated, going to your college libraries properly and taking books and reading. Uh, please avoid the echo. Yeah. Now that you all know about what is ICD-10? ICD, what is ICD? Yeah.
Informative communication technology.
No. ICD.
ICD, like
Classification of disorders, sir.
yes.
International Classification of Disorders or Disease.
Yeah. So the World Health Organization has categorized internet and gaming as a disorder. Till 2018 it was not, but now it is a disease. International Classification of Diseases under ICD-10, usage of mobile gaming and then usage of mobile itself is a problem. This itself should be taken as a separate session to all of you, because there is quite a lot of things that you need to really understand about this. So what do you do on the internet? That is important. You do. So what is that you are doing on internet and spending? See, just going to it, looking at a glance is fine. But if you are doing a game, I'll tell you, the impact can be your logical thinking can come down. Many people who are into this addiction of PUBG and some sort of a games, I don't want to name the game, but still some sort of a game, your thinking capability reduces, because your brain is always defined on going on a standardized path which the game has set you. You will not be creative. The creativity of an individual comes down. So what do we do with the internet is important, and how long you look into it. See, the moment where there is an WhatsApp, that too, this WhatsApp, the moment it comes, every moment people are very cautious and alert and immediately taking the phone. A normal average person, maybe of 40 or 50 years, who is not so much interested about WhatsApp or internet, they itself, probably on an average in a day, they see about 150 to 200 times the screen. So the screen time is important. The moment you have more and more of it, your inquisitiveness also will increase. Your anxiety will automatically increase during this kind of a time specifically. So restricting to the gadgets is always a very critical and important factor one has to do. Otherwise, the symptoms or the seriousness of this impact can affect you on a long run. So restricting should only be from a self-motivated restriction. Otherwise, if somebody forces you, then automatically you will try to keep the phone under the cupboards, see it, without knowing to parents. So other than this, every individual has to feel, okay, my eyesight is going to have a problem, my mental health, all my brain system, nervous systems are going to be rewired if I'm addicted on certain, internet or something for a longer duration. So we should not see psychology as just a feeling. You have to see the biological impacts of what will happen to the health. When you talk about a brain, the anatomy of human brain is very important. Understanding the level, even for, I used to say to children who come for a counseling, parents used to say early morning you wake up and study. Many of us say that, okay, parents are like this and they make me study at the early morning. This is a burden to me. No, the oxygen pumping to human brain is more effective, more than 80% in the early morning. So the freshness to the human brain is always there. So that is the reason why do we ask people to read at the early morning, where you get it, grasp it very fastly. There are many biological impacts associated with human brain when it comes to behavior and action. So looking into internet, it is our own call we need to take care of. Anything which goes beyond a control, you go to a counselor. Otherwise, basic factors you yourself can understand how to reduce it, what are the alternative methods I can take care of. So this is something which an individual can do by themselves.
So one more small question. Please give any suggestion. Give any suggestion for gents because they are handling lot financially, personally, family. So psychologically, you just give any suggestion for gents.
Okay, for psychological suggestion of men, I can say, women, you please support them. The biggest suggestion I can say, at least one stress element is reduced. On a lighter note.
Sir, come on. Sir, adding on to this good joke of yours, there is a person, SR, he or she has posed this question. Good evening,
Okay.
sir. How to tackle fear of visiting hospitals for other health problems, as almost everyone are being hesitant to visit hospitals due to COVID-19? I think it's a very sensitive question. I
Yeah.
repeat, how to tackle fear of visiting hospitals for other
Yeah.
health problems? Almost everyone are being hesitant to visit hospitals due to COVID-19. One
Yeah.
important question I thought I could. Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to miss the answering the question of the previous gentlewoman who has asked this. Even though it was a lighter joke, but the point is, men will generally have this attitude of coping up to the normalcy when the moment when they go out again. So official stress or something, as I told you at the beginning, stress is what people can give you. Taking it or not taking it is up to them. So they need to decide what amount of stress they are going to take. They have to be very clear in defining to their peers also at the official workplace, saying that I have also encountered such a situation at home during this 45 days. So I need to be very cautious. So please do not burden me. There can be an open communication to people. With this, at least they can understand, okay, I will not load you more. So this is not an emotional threat. This is an emotional situation which we are trying to explain to the peers who are going to work with us. And with that, we are going to find a solution, right? So that's the answer to your question. Secondly, answering to the question, anonymous question, which was asked by the professor, like I don't want to advertise or make mention any name of anybody, but still having asked this question, there is a group of doctors, including me as a psychologist, in the part of a operation called lockdown clinic. You can note down if you want. There is a lockdown clinic which is functioning, where all physicians and surgeons, including psychologists, I am a psychologist there. So many people are involved into that lockdown clinic. Till the COVID lockdown is over, they are talking to you, understanding the problem. If required on biological needs, they will come on a video call to you, and this is a free service, and assess what it is required, and they will give you e-prescriptions also. Because for certain psychosomatic disorders or some sort of health related issues where the medicines are mandatory, without the prescription the medical shop won't give you, they will facilitate you with the e-prescriptions also. Because 30 days old prescription, if you have and take it to the medical shop, some sedative medicines they may not give you. So you can utilize, avail this facility, and then try to overcome the problem of not visiting an hospital.
Sir, is the lockdown clinic actually an app, or is it available as a link?
No, it is a WhatsApp. You have the WhatsApp number in the internet. You can, or I'll just forward it to your professor. I think your professor does not have a. So I'll just forward that. In that WhatsApp number, you'll have to say hi. They will ask you some question. You'll have to mention what it is, and they will assign to the right doctors. This is a human service.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
People, any other questions would you like to pose to our resource person, Dr. K. Janakiraman? Any other questions, people?
Ma'am,
Yes,
there is
ma'am.
a question in chat box.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Whether it will be difficult to get back to the normal lifestyle after this lockdown gets over. This is a question put forth for you, sir. Whether it will be difficult to get back to the normal lifestyle after this lockdown gets over.
Is it a question or an answer? It will be difficult as an answer. Will it be difficult as a question? So if it is a question, it is up to that individual to how did he take forward his thought process, how positively he is motivated, or how confident he is to understand the situation and then come back after the normalcy. This is all independent, dependent, as I have told you earlier. If he asks me a question, will it be difficult? I would say no. Because that is what we are assembled here for the past 1 hour.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I am audible?
Yeah, very well.
Sir, myself Sadia from SKPC. I have one question.
Please.
How to cope with your loneliness during the quarantine, sir?
Almost the quarantine is getting over. That's what I said. You can talk to people, take a video call, talk to them, watch some live and active programs which can give you a mental strength. You can read books. So that's what I said, setting up your routine. from morning to evening. You can even wake up at your brims and fancy like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or whatever you want. No restrictions for that. Then once you wake up, you have to define a clear-cut timeline as if you are going to work or going to a college. So make your timetable tight, your schedule tight, and ensure that the activities that you do will not give you a dullness or will not make you think that I am alone. So this kind of activity, more of interactive activity, will help you. Attend webinars, talk to people, or better, a simple psychological method, talk to the mirror. Like, you feel like you are not alone, because the loneliness comes only, see, you are staying with the family or you are alone.
With the family, sir.
Yeah, so do interact with your family, do have a lot of positive discussion. And remember, may it be husband and wife or parents and children, never tend to get into any arguments. Because when you are in a normal life, when you argue with people, you have some outlet outside. Go and then talk to someone outside and then make them understand. A telephonic communication will not make you understand. And I know there are many teenage people, and I can address this as a psychologist. And very clearly, many of us do have a habit of texting people. Never ever do texting. This is something which is a very, very minute aspect of a psychological behavior. Because when you talk, your communication part, the voice, more than voice, what the message that you convey, the voice carries many of importance than any messages. Because the message can be sent in a different perspective by the sender, the receiver can read it in an entirely different perspective. So this will automatically lead to a lot of fights. I know what kind of people I'm addressing to. So those people, be cautious. So when you talk to any of your friend or whoever you want, please talk rather than texting, right? And late night with the mobile phone is always dangerous. Ensure that you and your mobile phone stay elsewhere. You don't stay together in the same room. Ensure that the alarm is required. Get a timepiece, keep an alarm. Don't have a mobile alarm with you. And this is going to be dangerous again in secreting your melatonin. You may not have a proper sleep routine. Your circadian rhythm will also affect when you are not having a proper sleep.
Sir, what about the old age people?
Old age people, there are many things. What you are expecting out of old age people?
I guess they don't use so much mobile phone. So please be specific with your question. Old age people, what, ma?
Sir, some of the old age people does not know to handle the mobile phones. How they will overcome their loneliness in quarantine?
No, that's what I didn't say mobile phone as a solution at all. I was just saying talk to people. They can at least talk to them over a phone, or at least when somebody is there with old age people, they can talk to them at least. If there are two old age people themselves, let them talk to themselves, but avoid argument. See, because this is a very restricted, unexpected condition where you cannot define answer for everything and then make them in a comfortable zone. There are, unfortunately, many people would have gone into a discomfort level. But same old age people can read through some spiritual books that they want to read. They can just go to the balcony, see what is happening around, take a walk. They can also schedule as per their convenience. See, scheduling, time management and scheduling is important. More than time management, I would say an effective scheduling of activity is important. And that activity, it can be better active activities, like not just sitting and watching TV. I will not consider sitting and watching TV as an activity. That's a burden to the human brain at this moment. Instead, they can see live interactions, making some small games, playing small games or something like that, interacting with people, telling their experience to kids. And we also should have the patience in handling old age people. If they try talking stories, we should not ignore, because end of the day, you all have come into field knowingly or unknowingly into psychology, and this is a very sensitive field which you are trying to live with lives and their emotions. So you ignore is something wrong. General people without a psychology background ignoring people is something okay, but you should not purposely ignore, because you are the ray of hope for them.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Vaishnavi,
Yes, ma'am.
is there any other question?
Yes, ma'am. There is one more question or doubt I can say. Why still the private hospitals are not working due to COVID-19?
Mm.
So, yes, sir.
That is the question, I guess.
Yes.
What was the question? What is the question?
Why still
private hospitals are during COVID?
These are all, remember, I am not commissioner of Chennai Corporation, but still I'll try to answer. See, the problem is this is a situation where we are all fighting to come across successfully and then stay ourselves safe, right? This should not be a place for anybody who tries to take an opportunity of working on business aspect. This is one reason. Another reason is there are certain proper guidelines being given by WHO and ICMR for certain organizations to get it certified by NABH, that is National Accreditation Body for Hospitals, and the beds are to be set in certain methodology. There is a certification program in WHO also. I have also completed that Surrey bed hospital requirements. Facility requirement. So you need to see what are the basic facilities that are. This is not like a normal infection, is what is considered at the time when it came to India. So for that special measures, every hospital did not get prepared all the time. And private hospitals, see, for example, if you want to do a COVID test with a corporation test center, you are charged free. But you want to do it in private, there is also a provision. People who want, confidentiality or don't want them to be seen on a queue, or who is not suspecting about the test quality, they can go to private, but that is on a cost. So encouraging a cost aspect is one thing, and encouraging one regular methodology what government defines. Otherwise, you will not come to know who are the cases. So there are many other medico-legal aspects involved into it. I think this is not a relevant question to the forum. However, I have answered to my level best.
Sir, I totally agree with that, and that's the reason for kind of avoiding asking that question. But not a problem. Is there any questions? Anybody? If not, we can wind up the session with the consent of the resource person.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Sir, like people say like depression is something that is going on all around world. People use this common term often, though it is being psychologically defined. People those who snore are considered to be depressed. And is there any very severe backup or a very great disorder that is going to take place for those who snore a lot? And is there any mental health disorder for them?
Those who snore a lot. What is that?
Those who snore, like people say like sleep apnea is also a kind of sleep disorder. Those who snore is also be considered as a depressed person. And is there any mental health disorder that is gonna affect a person who is snoring a lot? Like people have, they say in Tamil like எப்படி கொரட்டை விட்டு தூங்குறாங்க, he can't even breathe during his sleep. Is there anything like that? Because I have a doubt in it.
Yeah. This all depends on biological aspect also. If a person is snoring, this is not a psychological aspect, but it is a biological remedy that is to be taken. Even though you consider it an apnea or whatever, they have to be observed, understood whether the body weight is creating them a trouble. Even when people try to tend, kottavi vidranga illaya, even at that condition, the lungs that is getting an oxygen is reduced, is what doctors say. So these are biomedical aspects which they have to go for an observation. And you can't immediately stop them. This is not defined by mind just to snore. So these conditions requires a medical intervention. If the medical intervention is okay, he is not having a proper sleep due to stress, he is his respiratory systems are not properly functioning, then he has to undertake a counseling. And remember, as you rightly said, whenever you define somebody with a problem, the degree of the problem is to be understood properly and then guided or recommended or medicated. And many people are there here, including who has got passions to do their clinical psychology. Ensure that what degree of impact it is and what medications are they going to be defined, because just a psychotherapist can give you a therapeutic approach, but once it is requires a medical intervention, then a clinical approach is properly required.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello. Sir, I guess there are no more questions. I guess so. People, is there any question? Can I?
Excuse
Hello?
me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, this is Pooja. Sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
How do we deal with panic buying?
Panic?
Buying.
PUYING, panic buying. Buying the things, is it?
Yeah,
Please
yes, ma'am.
post your query to the resource person.
Yeah. Okay, there are different new strategies like panic buying, cabin fever. So all these things have come now. Again, I said, the answers are repeated because the questions are different, but the sense of question is same. Buying with respect to buyer, when there is a sale activity, as I have told you, one part is selling, another part is buying. If any one person is responsible, the problem of getting infected or affected can reduce. So you go with a proper measure, buy stuffs, and then maintain proper recommendation as advised by doctors or advised by home. So do those proper hygiene aspects when you buy and come, it's fine. When you feel like the area is so crowded to go and buy, it is unsafe to go and buy, please do avoid it. You can always postpone things. There are not that, see, we are not so unplanned to omit a situation where we need essential things not at home. So we'll have to plan it accordingly. Maybe in your daily schedule, just keep Mondays I go out and then buy, or Wednesdays I go out and then buy, but I buy for the whole week so that I don't have to expose myself again and again to the environment and get mutated or get infected or something like that. So this can also be a part of your planning. So you don't have to panic buying, and all comes only when you go to Coimbatore market on the day when you had this spread more. So those people can be under a panic buying condition, but not everyone. The moment you go and then buy stuffs, have a proper hand hygiene, wear a mask, wash those items, and then use it, then there is nothing risk involved into it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. So there are a lot of feedback in the chat box saying the session is excellent, very, very informative. This is I'm just trying to bring this to the knowledge of a resource person. If there are no questions, we can wind up, I guess. People out there. Yes. Sir, Janaki Raman sir, I think this was a fabulous session and very, 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 very pragmatic. So we really thank you for such an amazing session, and we have kind of extended it. It's like almost 6:50, going to be 7. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yes.
much for your efforts, and immediately you had agreed, which was phenomenal. So on behalf
Yeah.
of me and all my kids out there, my students, Kirtana, Vaishnavi, Lakshmi, Lata, Shanti, I thank you so much for everything, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Personal regards and placing thanks to you and Ms. Lakshmi and also Ms. Kirtana, who has approached me. And I was also happy in talking to the young budding psychologists who are going to come, because this is one field which as I told you, I am an engineer turned psychologist. So not everybody will have a passion in psychology. This is something which you read people, understand people, and live with the problems of people, which is very, very critical. And we are like, many cases we are seen like gods. So we have to discharge our duties properly. So let us be socially responsible, and let us be non-decisive in taking our let us not be in faster judgment, and we will serve the nation to the best what we can. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thanks a lot for every participant for being so patient and listening to my abrupt answers at some times also. Thank you so much.
Answers, everything was very sensible. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, sir.
If you video recorded of this, you can share me the link as well.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely
Sure.
will do that.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I request
Vaishnavi,
participants. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yes. So I request the
please do. Please.
participant. There is a link in the chat box where you can fill your feedback so that we can give you the e-certificate through the feedbacks. Just go to the link and fill the forms.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi. My personal thanks to Kirtana, Vaishnavi, and the whole team, Lakshmi, for having coordinated it so well. Thank you all. So we are exiting the meeting right now. Special thanks to Kirtana for having brought in the resource person, and special thanks to Vaishnavi for getting the whole technology process done. And very, very sincere thanks to all the team members.
Thank you.
So we're exiting the meeting. Thank you all the participants. There is a huge response. Thanks a million for joining us. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Yes, you can leave the meeting. I want Srivarshi, Chandni, Kirtana to be here, please.